you're hoping that the phone rings and you get called out to do content, for people's websites, for social media, whatever it is. When do you get that first call that's out of state?
Oh, that was actually the first call that I got.
Really?
Yeah, somehow.
No way.
Yeah, the very first client that I got was actually from my hometown, Kansas City.
Yeah.
They contacted me, and they had a project here that they wanted me to work on. They ended up enjoying working with me, so they hired me to photograph a handful of projects up in Kansas City as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was my very first. Well, besides,
Right.
I still do work for the architecture firm that I worked for.
Yeah.
So they were probably my first client, but
the
first new client,
right,
was an out-of-state firm. It was bizarre, but
that's amazing.
I know. I have no idea how it happened, but grateful.
Oh, no doubt. And then I guess the good thing is that when you get in with an architectural firm, right? They don't just build one building,
right?
And they also try and outdo themselves every time they build a new building, so they want to show it off. So I guess you just build that relationship and then just kind of maintain that relationship for whenever you're like, hey, you become their go-to photographer, just call me when you need me.
Absolutely.
And build that general book of business through that, right?
And what's funny about the Oklahoma City architecture community is it's very close-knit. Everybody knows everybody. And a lot of people have worked at other firms. People that I used to work with have gone on to work at other firms. So I have those relationships from working with people because I worked there for 11 years. I knew those people pretty well. And they said, do you want to come photograph some of our projects? And it's just kind of taken off since then.
Yeah, and the good part about Oklahoma City and the architectural community is it's tight knit, it's small. Like I said, once you started, when you started doing it, you were kind of in a smaller industry and not many people were doing it, and then you just become that one of those few people that everyone kind of just goes to, right? I'm sure there's hundreds of photographers now in Oklahoma City that are like, yeah, we do architecture as well as a bunch of other stuff, but because you started and stay consistent, you are one of the top 5 to go to kind of thing, right? That I mean, hopefully, right?
I don't know, but I hope.
But it's really cool. And I mean, previous podcast guest was Don Beck. So he was talking about being in Oklahoma City, and he's been doing it for 40 years, which is amazing, and the buildings that they've done. But it is really cool to see, scrolling down your Instagram to see the stuff that you've done, the places you've been, and the shots in Oklahoma City. There's a lot of places that people don't realize how awesome this is. And this house that you shot in Norman, I want to tour this house. I want to get that, do a video tour of it. But it's incredible.
I bet he would let you.
You think?
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, that's in no way is that in Norman. That's in Norman. That's so cool.
It sure is. He's an architect that works for OU.
Okay.
His name is Alan Mooring, and it's a really cool house, and he's very proud of it. I guarantee he would. He would probably let
the dog's in the photo too, which is really cool.
And both he and his wife, they're really, really cool and super chill. And we actually, right after the photo shoot, they had us over for dinner, so we went straight into photographing to eating dinner with them, hanging out and having a couple glasses of wine. It was really cool.
And that seems to be the thing as well about Oklahoma and Oklahomans in general. It's just it's more than just work, isn't it? It's a relationship, it's a friendship, it's how are you doing, anything we can help, let's hang out and have a few drinks and eat dinner, not this is a business transaction, you're in and out, when are you leaving kind of thing.
Which there are some people that are like that, but for the most part you build these relationships with these people because you like you said, you don't only photograph for them typically one time. You work with them, and some of these photo shoots are really, really long days. You're working 14-hour days sometimes, depending on what time of year you're photographing. Summer's obviously longer, or how many photos they want. But you're with them for 14 hours a day, sometimes back to back. So you build quite a bond with these people.